Chidambaram Excellence and Pondicherry Excellence, along with VHNSN College, Virudhunagar. Now I welcome Dr. Mahalakshmi ma'am from Krishnasamy College of Education, Pondicherry, to handle the session. She'll be handling the session in few minutes. She's trying to share the PPT. Let us wait for her.
Mahalakshmi ma'am, unmute yourself. Madam, enable editing இருக்கு பாருங்க, அதை கிளிக் பண்ணுங்க. Enable editing. மேடம் எனேபிள் எடிட்டிங்னு இருக்கும் பாருங்க அந்த ஆப்ஷன் மேல எல்லோ கலர்ல.
தம்பி எக்கோ ஆகுது.
Sir, is it sharing, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
it is.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I start, ma'am?
Start, Mahalakshmi, start.
Yes. Good evening to one and all present in this virtual session. In the program of effective communication skill workshop, today we are continuing the third day. Today our presentation topic is receptive skills, developing the receptive skills. Developing the receptive skills. I would like to welcome you all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing this wonderful session. And let us start with a prayer. And I most welcome to all the participants who are interestingly participating for the past 2 days for your cooperation and interaction. Welcome to all participants and have a great time ahead. Let me start with prayer. Dear God, thank you for your blessings. Give me the strength and opportunities to educate the future generation. Help me to walk in faith. Shower your blessings to everyone in the universe. Let them be safe, happy, peaceful, healthy. Thank you, God. Today, we are going to cover in the presentation, what is receptive skills, purpose of listening, active listening techniques, stages of listening, sub-skills of listening, developing listening skills, the skill of reading, the process of reading, stages of reading, types of reading, reading comprehension, and SQ3R method of reading. So let us move on to the session. Before entering into the presentation, let us recall the previous past 2 days what we learned. We learned about the basic skills, that is LSRW is the basic communication skills. And then also we learned that the basic language skill is broadly classified as receptive and productive skills. The receptive skills are listening and reading. The productive skills are writing and speaking. So with that, let us start with today's presentation. The receptive skills are listening and reading because the learners do not need to produce language to do these. They receive and understand the message. These skills are sometimes known as passive skills also. Receptive skills are sometimes known as passive skills. They can be contrasted with the productive or active skills of speaking and writing. The skills of communication, receptive and productive skills, and also the sub skills are grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, usage, and collocation and non-verbal communication. So in the skills, basic skill, communication skills, LSRW skills, listening is the first and foremost skill of the language that everyone should concentrate and develop. Listening is the foundation for speaking. Once you develop this skill, you can be a good communicator. So that to be a good communicator, we should develop the attitude of listening, concentrate on listening. If we started this process, means we can acquire the language skills very easily. So what is the purpose of listening? Means listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. So the communication is going on means anyone is speaking, we are hearing is different from listening. Previous classes also we discussed, and also this class also we are going to differentiate what is hearing and listening. So hearing is different, but listening is different. Listening is the key to all effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. So as a result, communication breaks down and the sender of the message can easily become frustrated or irritated. So if there is one communication skill you should aim to master among the 4 LSRW skills means, then practice listening. If you practice listening, you will be a best and better communicator within a short duration of time. You can become a good communicator. So concentrate your skill on listening. So the importance of listening, let us discuss. Effective listening is a skill that is frequently under-evaluated in our society. That is when the children are entering into the kids are entering into the school means what the school is doing, and the teachers are giving the management is giving 20 or 30 notebooks to the kids. And they are asking write A, write B, write, and then within 1 month of duration, they ask the children to write CAT, cat, RAT, rat, like that. So this is that is why we are saying listening is under-evaluated. But what happens in the CBSE schools? But CBSE schools pattern are following this skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. When you enter into the CBSE school environment, you can observe that students are listening more. That is through audio or video, whatever it may be. They are given practice in the listening skill. Then only the next year only they are going for speaking and reading and writing. So this psychological thing is followed in the CBSE school patterns. Some of the schools, matriculation schools in the cities, Chennai are also following this type of practice. But most usually, in our schools, in our city schools, we are following writing and speak, not in giving importance to listening and speaking. So that is, it is under evaluated. Good communication skills require definitely effective speaking and listening. Then only we can develop the good reading and writing skills. By being an attentive listener, you can understand more and improve relationship also. So it is the one of the very good advantage of this listening skill. If you listen to the speaker or your friend or your peer group or your relation, your father, mother, or whatever it may be, whoever it may be, so you can develop a good relationship with them. So this is the wonderful advantage of this listening skill. While listening, make sure to maintain eye contact and face the speaker to give them your attention. Don't be judgmental while listening. That is, don't be judgmental means so that you don't have your own idea that this may be he is speaking, she is speaking. Like that, don't have your own idea before listening. So if you have your own idea means you won't give your hearing to the speaker, so that you have your own idea. So don't have that type of habit. So please listen to the speaker and don't interrupt the speaker. Because, so please give time to what he is saying or she is saying, and then at last you just interrupt them, or with permission you can interrupt them if emergency means. So employ active listening techniques. Listening techniques we are going to see now, so that employ listening technique also. Think about what the other person is saying and not what you should respond with. So this is these are the some of the things you should concentrate while listening. So listening is the major impact on the communication skill. We listen to obtain information. So why we listen? Sometimes we listen to obtain information. Sometimes we listen to understand. At some occasion, we listen for enjoyment, like hearing to music, like that. And sometimes we listen to learn something. So that these are the different occasions we concentrate and involve ourselves in listening activity. So what is active listening? Active listening, is it audible, sir? So the way to active listening, the way to improve your listening skill is to practice active listening. That is, what is active listening? This is where you make a conscious effort to hear not only the words that another person is saying, but more importantly, the complete message being communicated. In order to do this, you must pay attention to the other person very carefully. You can't allow yourself to become distracted by whatever else may be going on around you, or by forming counter arguments while the other person is still speaking. Nor can you allow yourself to get bored and lose focus on what the other person is saying. So these things you should eliminate while involved in listening. Then only it is said to be active listening. So as I told before, let us discuss about what is active listening techniques. So listening is a process that needs the concentration of the listener. So let us discuss about what are the techniques to be involved, applied by the listener while during the listening process. So the following are the some key process, key techniques, listening techniques. Number one is pay attention. So pay attention means give your speaker your individual attention and acknowledge the message. Recognize that non-verbal communication also speak loudly. That is, you can nod your head, you can smile, you can move, slightly move your body. You can show by the eye contact that you are recognizing, that you are approving, agreeing the speaker's voice. Otherwise, by shaking your face like that, you can otherwise show the disapproval of your disapproval to the speaker also. So either agree or disagree, you can show by your non-verbal communication. Non-verbally, you can communicate with the speaker. That is when you are in a class also, the students may show the disagreement with you that if it is getting late like that. So we can understand these actions through non-verbal mode. So this is very important. Look at the speaker directly while listening. Put aside distracting thoughts. That is, you involve yourself actively in the listening process. Please, distracting thoughts, avoid your distracting thoughts. Don't mentally prepare or so avoid being distracted by environmental factors. For example, side conversation, that anything, any music from the nearby houses or anything, yes, over noise or polluted noise like that. So listen to the speaker's body language. That is, you just listen to the body language of the speaker also. This is what you must pay attention to the speaker's non-verbal communication. You should follow the speaker directly, look the eyes of the speaker directly. You should avoid the distracting thoughts, and you should also follow the body language of the speaker also. These are the things you should pay attention while involving yourself in the listening process. Number two is we are discussing about the techniques of listening process. Show that you are listening. So how you can show that you are involving in active listening process to the speaker? Use your own body language and gestures. If you are sitting casually, if you are nodding, if you are showing your action as sleepy, very dull face like that, it shows your disapproval. So use your body language and gestures. The gestures means nodding or showing gestures in your face, or like in hand movements like that. You can show your gestures that you are engaged in the listening process, so that you can do like that. Not occasionally, don't nod frequently, that just have the habit of nod occasionally. Smile and use other facial expressions also to agree with the speaker. Make sure that your posture is open and interested. Encourage that means posture is sitting posture or standing posture, whatever it may be, is open and interested. And encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes, yes, like that you can say. So that show that speaker that you are listening, actively listening in the process of so that it will motivate the speaker to continue the speech. So the third thing is provide feedback. So without feedback, the speaker can't able to evaluate his or her own presentation in the classroom or in the meeting or whatever it may be. Our personal filters, assumptions, judgments and beliefs can distort what we hear. As a listener, your role is to understand what is being said. This may require you to reflect on what is being said and to ask questions. You can reflect what I am hearing is sounds like you are saying, and what do you mean when you say like that? Summarize the speaker's comment periodically, so that this may motivate the speaker. And also you can give the good feedback at the end of the session, like or end of the meeting or end of the class, like that. So respond appropriately. Active listening is designed to encourage respect and understanding. Be candid, open, and honest in your response, and assert your opinions respectfully. But don't say that if you are having any disagreement with the speaker, so you can assert, you can your own rights to assert. So someone is saying lot of disturbance, sir. Why, sir? Hello, sir. Hello, sir. JP, sir. Is there any distraction, sir?
No, I think you can continue.
No, ma'am. So someone is saying that a lot of disturbances are there.
You check whether in your place there is no disturbance in your place.
Okay,
because only hosts are given to speak.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
So the final technique is respond appropriately. So you should respond appropriately implies that you can have the disagreement with the speaker, but that you should register in a respectful manner. That your language should be polite in the with your, if it is you are having some disagreement with the speaker, that is a good practice. Treat other person in a way that you think they would want to be treated. So that is very important. So we discussed about the active listening techniques. Number one is if you are attending actively in the listening process, means you should pay attention to the speaker, so that to the speaker that you are listening, and provide feedback, that is the evaluate that you had listened to the speaker, and respond appropriate manner. If you are having some disagreement, means that you should respond in an appropriate manner. So that are the techniques for active listening. Do you know the difference between the listening and hearing? So there is certain difference between hearing and the listening. So listening is a passive process, but hearing is an active process. In listening, there are no any responses from the audience, but while hearing, responses that demonstrate that you understand what the other person is trying to tell you about his or her experience. So no interaction, and interactions are there in the listening process. So here in the hearing process, asking questions and interactions to get the clarifications are there. So not really paying attention to what's being said in the listening process. That is, we just, someone is speaking, so we are listening, that's all. We won't give our attention to that that speaking, what they are going on, what conversation is going on, like that. We just be there as one of the person. But in the hearing process, we involve ourselves in the actively in the listening process, and we actively involved by following the techniques of listening, and with attention to understand the meaning and the message, we engage ourselves in the process. So that is a difference between listening and hearing. Passive listening is one-way communication where the receiver doesn't provide feedback, but active listening is two-way communication where the receiver provide the feedback. So these are the differences between the listening and the hearing process. The stages of listening already in the previous session also we have discussed that there are 5 stages in the listening process. Number 1 is the receiving stage. Number 2 is the understanding stage. Number 3 is the remembering stage, and 4 is evaluating stage, and the last one is the responding stage. So that so listening, you may think that what listening is just a skill. We can't, so far we didn't give more importance to this skill, but now we are exploring this skill at our level test. Because why? Because it is the foremost skill. As English is not our native language, it is our second language only. There is only less exposure in this language, so that if we concentrate more on this listening skill, we can acquire the language better than before. So that's why we are concentrating and exploring more about this listening skill. And why? Because first we have to receive the messages, then only we can produce the messages. That is the psychological basic for this exploring this listening skill also. So the sub skills of listening are listening for guests, listening for information, listening in detail, intensive listening, extensive listening, and listening for individual sounds. What is listening for guests? It is extensive listening for skimming. This happens when we listening to get a general idea about a topic. And example, listening to a summary of the day's news on the radio. So many news are there. We can't give our attention to everyone what is saying. But if we are interested in sports news, we pay our attention when the sports news comes. And if we are interested in politics means, we pay our attention when the politics news comes. Like that, listening to a summary of the day's news on the news, like that also listening for the guest. And listening for specific information means we are looking for some announcement like that, a date of election, date of examination, PGTRB examination, like that we are looking for some announcement. That is, we are looking for here listening for specific information. In such occasion, we listen for specific information. If we are waiting for a result, we are waiting for our announcement of our name, like that. That is listening for specific information. At that time, speech than other speech. When we expect what we are expecting comes to our attention clear other than other speech. So this is listening for specific information. And then third one is listening in detail. So listening in detail means when judge is listening to the is dealing with a case, he has to write the judgment so that he listens to the witness very carefully, so that each and every words spoken by him. That is, it is the intensive listening for scanning. This is when we listen very closely, paying attention to all the words and trying to understand as much as information as possible. Some students in the classroom may involve themselves in this type of listening so that they want to acquire what is being taught by the teacher. So that is the third stage of listening. So intensive listening is also there. Intensive listening is the act of listening with attention to get the meaning of what is being listened with concentration. While intensive listening practice, attention is given to pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, rather than overall meaning. So that intensive listening is we pay our attention how the word is pronounced by the speaker, how the speaker is using the structures while speaking, and how the speaker is using the vocabulary used skillfully, vocabulary is used by the speaker. Like that, we are imitating their speech for that is, we are getting ready to develop our speaking skill. For that purpose, we involve ourselves in the intensive listening. That is, if you want to be a good communicator, if you want to speak in public, and if you want to speak in group with courage, we want to, you should involve yourself how the speaker is pronouncing the words, grammar, vocabulary, like that. So this type of listening this type of listening avoids overall meaning, but your concentration should be on the words, articulation, stress, intonation, like that, the body language, like that. Intensive listening should be there. Extensive listening is the students do not reinforce or practice a grammar point which is linked to the rest of the coursework. Extensive listening is also otherwise known as guest listening. That is, we listen more to develop our skills, or to develop for entertainment. Also, we sometimes involves ourselves in the extensive listening. So, sub skills of listening are listening for guest, listening for information, listening in detail, intensive listening, extensive listening, and listening for individual sounds mean so that how this noun, pronouns, how these tense patterns, structures are pronounced by the, that means in the speech sounds, how speech sounds are pronounced by the speaker. Like that, we pay our attention. So let us move on to the developing listening skills through media. Nowadays, medias are available. More exposure or there. Before that, 20 years back, this type of exposure is not available for the language learners. But in the present scenario of digital era, we are having more exposure to develop the listening skill through media. Even kids are having more exposure through more exposure in English language by using the mobile phones. They are watching TV shows and they are using podcasts and like that while listening to the movie or TV show or cricket commentary or English news, anything else like that. From the native speakers or BBC British broadcasting language pronunciation, they can acquire skills of the language than before. That is, the kids are having more exposure nowadays, so they can learn the words like gona, vana, like that. They can able to develop their skill by giving their attention like TV shows, podcasts, like that. So this is various medias are available so that anyone can use this media availability to improve your language. So having effective listening skills means able to display interest in the topic discussed and understand the information provided. In fact, listening is just as important as speaking. Being a good listener helps to solve the problems. So voice blogging can help to improve the listening skill. Voice blogging means students can be assigned to listen to several of their classmates and give each other comments. By listening to each other and giving encouraging comments, you are building a positive classroom environment and cooperation with the classroom, all while students build their listening skills. That is, voice blogging means you can record your voice and you can post them to the blogs or the Google Classroom so that it can develop your speaking skill. No doubt, so listening is the foundation for the development of speaking skill, so that you can use this skill by voice blogging also. So the way to improve your listening skill is to practice active listening as we discussed in this session. This is where you make a conscious effort to hear not only the words that another person is saying, but more importantly, the complete message being communicated. So your motto should be to get the complete message by the speaker. So that is said to be active listening. In order to to do this, you must pay attention to the other person very carefully. You can't allow yourself to become distracted by whatever else may be going on around you or by forming counter arguments. So at the end of the listening skill, to conclude with the listening skill, let us see some of the measures to develop good listening skill. This is we also discussed in the previous session also, first class session also. The following activities may help the language learners to acquire the extensive listening skill. Listening to many different recordings. You can recordings are available in the BBC website, BBC www.bbc.co.bbc.in also available, and the BBC is available. BBC website is available. More listening recordings are there. You can online also you can hear it, or you can download and hear it. Listening to videos, so more English movies are available. You can listen to such type of videos with the subtitles running in the downlines. Listening to interviews about the same topic, listening to native speakers, listening to the model reading. So these are the some of the measures to develop the listening skill. Listening to different kinds of spoken text will help you to improve your listening skill. Spoken text means that announcements, interview, group discussion, these are said to be spoken text. Written text we all know about the written text. The spoken text, which one is spoken text, or the announcement, interview, group discussions, or this is said to be the spoken text. So listening involves the formation of proper auditory images of phonemic component, such as the use of vowel and consonant sound, stress, accent, pitch, pause, juncture, intonation, and the rhythm of the language. So these are the things you should concentrate while involving yourself in active listening process. So how the vowel and consonant sounds are articulated by the speaker, how the stress and intonation patterns are used by the speaker, what is the accent of the language used by the speaker, pitch of the voice and pause, where they are using the pause, and the juncture, intonation and the rhythm of the language. Or if you concentrate on these components only, you can understand the meaning of the message at the full extent. So listening to these different types of spoken text as announcements, interview and the group discussion will help you to develop your listening skill. Or any other spoken language improves the listening ability of the learner and to develop good command over the language. So with that, I conclude about the listening skill. So we discussed about the listening skill process, stages of listening, the techniques of active listening process, and some of the measures to develop the listening skill. And also finally we discussed about the listening to different kinds of spoken text. So whatever is going on, some announcements is going on, interview is going on, and group discussion is going on, you please involve yourself in the active learning process so that you can develop your listening skill that will help you to go for the next level, that is speaking skill. So that if you involve yourself in this listening process, you can acquire the fundamental communication skill, that is listening. So let us, audience, are you there? Yes. Participants? Yes, you can now unmute your mic.
They can't unmute their mic, they can chat. They will ask something in the chat.
Please, participants, are you there? So some of you can unmute.
Ask them
yours.
to message.
Yes.
Part is
So let us have some activity for listening now. Are you ready?
Mahalakshmi, follow the chat, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Follow the chat.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Let us have some activity to improve your listening process. So I will say some words. You just write the answers. You just write the answers. I'm going to say something. You just write it in your papers. Do you have papers? Please. Yes. Are you ready to write? Okay. Yes. Yes. What's your name? Please write in the paper. What's your name? Next one. Wow. Third one. Go straight. Third one. Go straight. Fourth one. I'm living in Chennai. I'm living in Chennai. Fourth one. I'm living in Chennai. Fifth one. Excellent. You have done a good job. Fifth one. Excellent. You have done a good job. So that please check your answers that whether you have written in a correct format. What's your name? It should be ended with a question mark. Wow, it should be ended with the that is exclamation mark. Go straight. T is missing. Sorry. I'm living in Chennai. The sentence should be ended with a full stop. Excellent. There should be one of exclamation mark. You have done a great job. There should be one full stop. So if how many of you done correct? So this is the listening practice, that the pitch of the speaker, that the tone of the speaker, you should, yes. Any one of you done this one as correct? Yes. So why we are checking is this type of exercises that pronunciation marks are important to express the ideas and the feelings of the speaker. So this is very, very important. You should concentrate. So let us move on to the next activity. Let us move on to the next activity. Are you ready? So I'm going to read the story. So you just I'm going to read the story. You just draw whatever strikes in your mind. So you just draw whatever comes in your mind. On the full moon day, I decided go to beach with my family. We went by a car. We are four, myself, my wife, my two daughters. On the way, we saw a cat on the roadside. My daughter asked me to get it for her. We picked up the cat and now we are five. We reached the seashore. It was very pleased to be there in the evening. We enjoyed the sea breeze, the ship on the sea, children playing in the sand, adults standing in the waves. The sunset are very pleasing and enjoyable. It was really an amazing experience. So whatever comes in your mind, you please draw. Have you finished? Have you finished? You can send all these things in your assignments. You could send all these things in your assignments, with your assignments. Yes, good. So that you have done, I think. Let us move on to the next part. Very good, super. Full moon beach, my family, seashore, enjoyment. So Kavita has drawn a picture, I think. Very good. Hats off you, Kavita. Had anyone drawn any picture? So now I am going to read some sentences. You just write the sentence and draw. A beautiful flower. You just write the sentence. Also, you draw the figure also. Kavya Shanmugavel, Tulasi Rani, Indumati had drawn a pictures. Very good. Now you just write the sentence in the paper and also draw the picture also. A beautiful flower, a cup of tea, smiling face, a small table under a big tree. A small table under a big tree. Waves on the sea. Waves on the sea. This thing you should submit with your assignment. Waves on the sea. Boys are playing cricket. Boys are playing cricket. Last one, a tall boy and a short girl. A tall boy and a short girl. So that once again I repeat, a beautiful flower, cup of tea, smiling face, a small table under a big tree, waves on the sea, boys are playing cricket, a tall boy and a short girl. So hope that you have completed. Shall we move? Yes. Completed. Okay, good. Yes, everyone completed? Yes, Varsha Murugan, Kaushik, Arun Chakravarti. Yes,
Usha, Priyanka, Kamaraj. Okay, fine, Hamalata. All have completed, I think. Hope that you enjoyed the activity. Have you enjoyed the activity? Yes, okay, good. Okay, let us move on. Really enjoyed. Thank you. So, reading skill. Let us move on to the next skill, next part of our session, that is reading skill. So the two skills, two receptive skills are listening and reading. So listening so far we discussed. Now we shall move on to the reading skill. So what is reading? Reading is not a simple process or as you think that just have opened the book or seeing anything or reading. That is not reading. Reading is really a complex process. It is also a cognitive process of decoding symbols in order to construct or derive meaning. Reading is a means of language acquisition, communication, and of sharing information and ideas. So reading is just not a simple process, it is a cognitive process. Just we should involve ourselves in decoding the symbols, whatever the symbol may be, the language, verbal, the symbol may be verbal or non-verbal. So in order to construct or derive meaning. So sometimes we read the word and acquire something, some meaning. At some occasions, we saw symbols and we acquire some information. So that is decoding the symbols. It may be verbal or non-verbal. The reading process is defined as a cognitive process that involves decoding symbols to arrive at meaning. Reading is an active process of constructing meanings of words. Reading with a purpose helps the reader to direct information towards a goal and focuses their attention. Although the reasons for reading may vary, the primary purpose of reading is to understand the text. Reading is a thinking process. It is a cognitive process as well as a thinking process. So that if we are involving in the reading process, we should be concentrated and read with full attention to get the meaning from the writer or author. So reading involves pre-reading, during reading, and after reading. It involves the three stages. The first one is pre-reading stage, which allows the reader to activate background knowledge, preview the text, and develop the purpose of reading. At the first level, you first select the book, that is the content for reading. That is the pre-reading stage. You select and activate the background knowledge for reading. That is, you are previewing the text. The second stage occurs during reading. That is, you involve yourself in the reading process. When the reader makes predictions as they read, then confirms or revises the predictions. For example, a double entry journal enables the reader to write the text from the reading on one side and their personal reaction on the other side. So while reading, you compare your personal reactions with what you are reading. So that is the during reading, you connects your previous knowledge regarding that context with what you are reading. That is the during reading process. The final stage occurs after reading. So you compare your old knowledge with the new one what you are reading, and after reading you comes to one conclusion that you acquire some knowledge after reading. That is the final stage occurs after reading and allows the reader to retell the story, discusses the elements of the story, answering the question, compare it to the another text. For example, students can create summaries where they can take a huge selection and reduce it to its main points for more concise understanding. So that this is after reading process, that is pre-reading, during reading, and after reading. That is, you make yourself ready to read, and you involve yourself in the reading process, and you make some summary what you have read. So these are the stages of reading. At the final stage, you come to one conclusion. You gather some information from the reading process. So there is eye fixations and vision span are there while you involve yourself in the reading process. The major components of the reading is eye fixation. When you are reading a particular text, you can able to read the words combinedly. That is, some according to your speed of the reading. Some readers may read the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Like that, the slow reader can read. A little bit average reader can read it as the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. A fast reader can read the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Like that, this is said to be the fixation and vision span. That is, your span of vision select a certain number of words to read in one utterance. That is said to be the eye fixations and vision span. That eyes fixations and vision span depends upon the speed of the reader. So that you should develop your eyes fixations and vision span to become a fast reader. Types of reading. In the previous first session also we discussed about these types of reading: oral reading, silent reading, skimming, scanning, intensive reading, and extensive reading are the types of reading. Let us see in detail about what is skimming. It is one first type of reading, that is skimming. Before that, you should understand all these are advanced level of reading, that is skimming, scanning, or advanced level of reading. You should develop basic reading skills, then only you can go for skimming, scanning, like that. Skimming is the process that is used for getting general idea or gist of the article. It is the fast reading technique often used with the purpose in your mind. For example, sometimes we will skim through the newspaper for getting an overall idea what's happening. We will not read each news in detail. It involves the reading for getting only the main ideas and the general view of the content. So before entering into the examination hall, the students involve themselves in this skimming process, that is turning over the pages fastly. Whether they are reading or not, just they have a glance of the titles of the lessons. That is, this will help them in writing the examination. That is the process of skimming. That is, in short, we can say skimming is the process of fast reading and revising, looking for some information in a gist. So how we can skim? You should develop. Why we are discussing all these things here is you should develop your reading skill. To develop this reading skill, you should involve yourself in this process: skimming, scanning, intensive reading, and extensive reading. Then only you can develop your reading skill. So the steps involved in the skimming are: read the title, which is the shortest possible summary of the content. Read the introduction, read the first paragraph completely, read the headings and the subheadings. So if you are seeing an article in the newspaper that attracts you, you just read the title and read a few lines from the first few lines, that is 5 or 6 lines, and then you can go for the final line, so that you can get an idea about the article. So this is how you can skim. That is, if you have less time only, means at that instances you can use this skimming technique. Usually in the morning times, we all are skimming the newspapers only. No, none of us is reading the newspaper line by line. So this is the process of skimming. Skimming is a method of rapid moving, that is a fast reading. I told you. Skimming is useful in 3 different situations, that is pre-reading, reviewing and reading. Skimming is more thorough than simple previewing and can give a more accurate picture of the text to be read later. And the reviewing stage, skimming is very useful for reviewing the text already read. That is what I told. Before entering into the examination, you review your textbook. And reading, skimming is more often used for quickly reading a material that does not need more detailed attention. That is non-detailed reading, a storybook. If we are traveling, means we can have a storybook. We can complete a 100 pages storybook within an hour. So within 1 hour, we can complete that 100 pages of book. That is the skimming process. But at the same time, 100 pages of a textbook for course book in our college course means we read the same book for 1 year of duration. So that is different. That is, we are reading for getting each and every meaning of the text. That is different. But reading fast to get the idea, overall idea of the text is skimming. Next process is scanning. You should develop the skill of scanning also. You should scan the text at a glance. That is scanning. If you want to know a meaning of or a particular word, what can we do? We can't go for A from the alphabet, from A, B, C, like that. First word, second word. So we just pick. So we just go for, we take the word focus and we go for FOC and we locate the word focus. That is scanning. If we want to locate an address from the directory or anything else, we just go fastly and turn over the pages and we pick out that address. That is scanning. So scanning is quick reading which focuses on locating specific information that we are looking for. Any one particular information means we turn over that particular page and we got the information. That is scanning. Scanning involves quick eye movements in which the eyes wander. If before going into the examination hall, if we forgotten something means we just locate that particular question and have a glance fastly. That is the example for scanning. That steps in scanning is, keep in mind that all times what is we are looking for. Anticipate in what form the information is likely to appear. That is where it can be, where you can locate that. So that thing you should anticipate. Analyze the organization of the content before starting to scan. Our eyes should run rapidly over several lines of the print at a time. When we find the sentence that has the information, we should read the entire sentence. So this is the steps you should follow in scanning for a particular information. So skimming is a method of getting overall information. Scanning is a fast reading process in which we are looking for a particular information and locating that particular information. So steps in scanning also we discussed, and intensive reading and extensive reading are there. This thing also you should develop in your reading skill. Intensive reading is aimed at mastering the structures and vocabulary. That is what you are looking, each and every concept, each and every word, each and every structure, and you should understand everything in clear. That is intensive reading. And the students have more opportunities to learn the aspects of the language through intensive reading. Then extensive reading is the process of reading for storybook, magazines, newspapers, and for entertainment. This is said to be the intensive reading. The two main themes of extensive reading are reading for pleasure and reading for information. So, with that, we discussed about the types of reading: skimming, scanning, uh, intensive reading, and extensive reading. Now we go for note making and note summarizing, the two important process that will develop your reading skill. So what is note making? Note making is a study skill where the student will prepare their own notes from reference book. That when you involve yourself in the reading process, this note making, summarizing are the advanced level of skills that will certainly help you to develop your reading skill. That is to get the information, to acquire the message, that is the receptive skills. To develop your receptive skill, you should learn to take notes, make notes, and summarize the passage. That will help you to move you to the next level, that is to acquire the productive skills. So note making is a study skill that the students will prepare their own notes from reference books. So if you are reading your course book or anything else from the library skills is also very important for you, for a good reader. So that you should learn to make notes and take notes. So note making format is you just write the heading, subheading, important points, and key words of the passage. This is the format for note making. And procedure is read the passage provided, underline the important sentences, make a rough note and organize them in a logical order. Use the appropriate notes making format. Do not change the idea of the message. That is very, very important. And note making process should not, you should not deviate from the message of the writer. So you should maintain the content, the key fact of the content given, what you are reading. Read the passage provided and take notes without deviating from the change the idea of the message of the passage. So this thing you should follow in taking your notes. The next skill is summarizing. Summarizing is also taking a lot of information and creating in a condensed version that covers the main points. To summarize the meaning, to sum up the main points of something, a summarization is the kind of summing up. So steps in writing a summary involves read the passage, select the most important point, arrange points systematically, and give an appropriate title. Sir, at last we come to concluding session. So the last thing is what is the difference between summarizing and note making. Summary is the reproduction of everything contained in a passage in a condensed form. Notes cover only the essential ideas. Summary is a wide term which includes note making also. One cannot write summary unless has acquired the skill of note making. Summary is always written in full sentences. Notes are not always written in full sentences. You can write with phrases, words, and sometimes with symbols also you can use. Summary should always be written in correct and clear language, and notes are not always written in clear language or full sentences. Pleasing and grammatically correct language won't be there. Abbreviations and symbols are not used in general summarizing. Abbreviations and symbols can be used in note making. So these are the differences. Summarizing is formal one. Note making is the informal one that you can use for your own reference. So that we came to the concluding session. We discussed about the receptive skills, listening and speaking. I tried to give my level best. Hope that you enjoyed this session and it is useful for you at some extent. There are a lot of things to be discussed in this receptive skills. So some of the major things I have enlightened you in this session. It will be useful to you if you follow yourself in the future, in the forthcoming days. So that last thing is SQ3R method of reading is there. SQ3R method is of reading you can follow in your reading. SQ3R means survey, S implies surveys, Q implies question, 3R means read, retrieve, and review. This is introduced by Francis P. Robinson in the year 1946. When you involve in reading a book, you just survey the book and question what you should get from that book and read, retrieve, and that means recalling or reviewing, and finally you review the book. If you follow these 5 steps, you can definitely be a good reader. You can develop a good reading skill. So comprehension exercise is here. If you are interested, you can read it out, and questions are given below. You can write the answers. So comprehension exercise is here. I just read out the session. Ma'am, is that time to do this comprehension exercise? Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This exercise is here, ma'am. Shall we go for complete this exercise?
Yes, ma'am. Once again.
This exercise the participants can do, ma'am, now.
It is on 43. How much time it will take?
It will take only 5 minutes, ma'am.
Then they can do it. Yes.
Yes.
Let them try.
Yes. Please, dear participant, just I will read out the passage. You just try to comprehend the meaning and write the questions given below. A robot is a machine, but it's not just any machine. It's a special kind of machine. It's a machine that moves. It follows instruction. The instructions come from a computer because it is a machine. It does not make mistakes, and it does not get tired, and it never complains unless you tell it to. Robots are all around us. Some robots are used to make things. For example, robots can help make cars. Some robots are used to explore dangerous places. For example, robots can help explore volcanoes. Some robots are used to clean things. These robots can help vacuum your house. Some robots can even recognize words. They can be used to help answer telephone calls. Some robots look like humans, but most robots do not. Most robots just look like machines. Long ago, people imagined robots. Over 2000 years ago, a famous poet imagined robots. The poet's name was Homer. His robots were made of gold. They cleaned things and they made things, but they were not real. They were imaginary. Nobody was able to make a real robot. The first real robot was made in 1961. It was called Unimate. It was used to help make cars. It looked like a giant arm. In the future, we will have even more robots. They will do things that we can't do, or they will do things that we don't want to do, or they will do things that are too dangerous for us. Robots will help us fight fires. They will help us fight wars. They will help us fight sickness. They will help us discover things. They will help make life better. So hope that you may comprehend some message from the passage. Let us move on to the questions. Number 1, we can understand that something special is not normal, expensive, perfect, tired. Please write your answer in the chat box. we can understand that something special is not normal, expensive, perfect, tired. Something special is not good, perfect. Perfect is good. Oh, thank you, sir, for your comment. Venugopal sir, thank you for your comment. Perfect. Yes, we can say that something special is not perfect. According to the author, robots may be used to dash. Number 2. According to the author, robots may be used to according to the author, robots may be used to make wars. Yes. Good. Number 3, what is the main purpose of paragraph 2? So this from but, the paragraph 2 is here from this but this but, it is paragraph number 2. What is the main purpose of paragraph 2? To show how easy it is to make a robot, to tell what a robot is, to describe things a robot can do, to explain the difference between a robot and a machine. Which one is correct? Yes, C. To describe the things a robot can do. Indumati, Girija, Gayatri, Ratika, Varsha, Deepika, Priyanka, Usha, Merlin, Jennifer, Charu, Vinodini, so many of you have given the right answers. Hats of you. Santosh, Niveta, Bhuvaneshwari, very good, very good. According to the passage, number 4, only 6 questions are here. According to the passage, when was the first real robot was made? Yes. Good. 1961. A. Number A is the correct answer. Charu, Sabita, Ranjita, Gayatri, Venugopal, Kaushika, Indu, Hemalata, Merlin, Skamaraj, so many Kaushika, so many of you giving the Binoy Paul, Anil Kumar, so many of you are giving the right answers. Using the hats of you are having the good comprehension skill. Using the information in the passage as a guide, which of these gives the best use of rubber? To help make a sandwich, to help tie shoes, to help read a book, to help explore Mars. Yes, good. To explore the Mars. So robots can go for Mars. So whatever we want, wherever we want, we can use robots to go to explore the Mars. Very good. Happy to hear your responses. Which of these statements correctly summarizes how the author of this passage feels about robots? Robots are old. Robots are confusing. Robots are helpful. Robots are dangerous. What is your understanding? Yes, please. Robots are old. Robots are confusing. Robots are helpful. Robots are dangerous. So robots are helpful. Very good. Robots are helpful only. Robots are helpful, but we should use them carefully. So that is the comprehension of this passage. You all have a good comprehend level. Hats of you. And if you involve yourself, you can acquire a good receptive skills. So I'm very pleased to have a feedback from you all, and you are very active during these days and stay connected with us. Thanks for your interest and motivation. To conclude our session, becoming an effective communicator is a dynamic process and lifetime pursuit. There is much more to active listening and to the many other skills that will help you to provide excellent care to potential donor families and to communicate effectively with your family, your group, friends, and team members. Active listening builds strong relationship, and while it may not come naturally to many of us, it is invaluable communicating skill. And so I request you all to develop your listening skills at your level best. Thank you one and all present in this virtual session. And thanks due to the Almighty God, to my parents and family, all my teachers, the Lions Club Excellence Chidambaram, and the organizers of this useful workshop, and to all my well-wishers. Hope that the session was useful, and thank you for your valuable time with me. Happy learning. Thank you one and all. Is there any discussion? Please, audience participants. Yes.
Okay, I welcome L. Vanilla, Assistant Professor, Annamala University, Lion Member, Chidambaram Excellence.
Ma'am, Indumati is there to give the feedback, ma'am.
Very good evening
Yes.
to one and all present here.
Yes, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Indumati,
Can you hear me, ma'am?
continue. Yes, continue.
Okay.
Okay. I can't hear. Okay.
Mahalakshmi, you please stop sharing the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Indumati, continue. Yes. Indumati?
Indumati? Yes, Indumati?
We can't hear you.
Indumati, unmute your phone.
1 minute. 1 minute. I must make a post. Indumati. Yes, Indumati.
Okay, ma'am. Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening to one and all who all gathered here in the session. It is one of the very most effective and very much interesting session. We all have learned a lot from the session. We all have learned the basic skills, which is the most effective means of communication. We can communicate to all in an effective means, so that all can understand our ideas, thoughts by expressing it. And it is also an entertained program, ma'am. We really enjoyed a lot from this session, ma'am. And we have learned the importance of communication, and we have learned that how we can communicate from one person to another. So it's really interesting, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now I welcome Dr. Vanilla Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Annamala University, Lion Member, Chidambaram Excellence, to give vote of thanks for this session. Vanilla Ma'am, please.
Hi. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your nice introduction. Very good evening to one and all present here. I would like to thank all the organizers for making this event happen. I also thank the Lions Club, Chidambaram Excellence, for this webinar on very useful topic. I'm very happy to thank the speaker, Dr. Mahalakshmi, for this enlightening presentation on developing receptive skills. And the practical session was also excellent and useful. The level of expertise and knowledge of her are excellent. I appreciate their positive and attitude, and this webinar is very useful, delivered a very useful information for the students to improve their listening and reading skills. And it is also helpful for the teacher to be able to move their thinking towards to making the students to listen. A good teacher is a good communicator. A good teacher needs to be not only a good speaker but also a good listener. We have learned this from your lecture, ma'am. We have understand the importance of listening from your lecture. We have followed the same throughout the lecture. Yes, got listening skill, good listening skills or not talking when others are speaking. We were followed the same. So we are the good listener and good reader. We will be a good listener and good readers. We read every day, but now only we have understand the different type of reading, and most of our students are always following the skimming technique. Now only I understand what kind of teaching they have followed. And when they are reading the subject book, they have followed the skimming technique, but they are reading they are following the extensive skill while reading the storybook. Now we can explain how to read a book in an effective manner to the students. Thank you once again for the information shared here. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vanilla ma'am. Thank you so much for coming over
Yeah,
here and
welcome,
giving
ma'am.
the feedback. And I thank
Thank you, ma'am.
Mahalakshmi ma'am for wonderful session today also. A very good feedback from the participants. Thank you, Mahalakshmi ma'am.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
have
Thank you so
more
much.
sessions to continue. Hope everything will be fine. With this, we can conclude the session. Now I'll post the feedback again. Those who have not filled the feedback, you can do it now. I'll post the feedback again. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, dear participants, and thank you, all organizers. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll be putting the feedback again. 1 minute. Okay, for participants, those who have not yet filled the attendance, please check it again. Check the feedback link is in the chat box. Again, I like to thank Lions Club International, Pondicherry Excellence, and VHSN College, Virudhunagar, for giving this opportunity to jointly organize this program. Thank you, one and all. Those who have not completed, please fill the feedback form. Thank you. We will meet again tomorrow. Yes, you can leave the meeting. Those who have completed the feedback link can leave the meeting.